Hi, my name is Brad. Most of you know me. I'm one of the pastors here. I get to be a pastor with Nathan and with all God's people here. It's great to have you tonight at Christmas time. I get to talk to you about Christmas, and that's a joy. And you can all be seated. So, so this is what we're going to talk about. The light still shines. And I'd like to be able to do this. When I point at you, okay, and I don't like to point at people. When I point at you, would you say that? 1, 2, 3, point. So let's do it one more time just to make sure we know how. Ready? Boom. And that's what we're going to talk about. The light still shines for us and in us and through us and to us. And not anything or no darkness can put it out. That's our focus on this Christmas Eve. Well, when you leave tonight, you're going to. We're giving out these books. I was going to say you're going to get one, but you don't have to get one if you don't want to. But the author starts it with a story. He was a newspaper reporter, kind of high power in Chicago, and he did this human interest piece on a very poor family, a grandmother named Perfecta and her two daughters, or her two granddaughters rather, and they were burned out, in his words, they were burned out of a roach-infested tenement, and now they were living in something worse. All right? And when he went to see them about a week before Christmas, they had nothing there. There wasn't a stick of furniture. He says there was a handful of rice. That's the only food they had. Each of the girls had one very paper-thin dress, and this was in Chicago in the middle of winter. And when they walked to school, they only had one jacket. And about halfway, they would switch it around. That's how they were living. And during this time, as he was talking to them, the grandmother, she talked about her faith in Jesus. Yeah, you guys got it. You guys got it. She talked about her faith in Jesus. And he wrote in the book that when he went home, when he went back to the office, these are the thoughts he had in his mind. Go ahead. I never sensed despair or self-pity in their home. Instead, there was a gentle feeling of hope and peace.
The light still shines.
Yeah. And he was so troubled by it, he went back at Christmas Eve about a week later to see how they were doing. And he was amazed when the apartment door was opened, his readers had responded. And so there was furniture in every room. They had new beds. There was a great, huge Christmas tree with all kinds of gifts there. There was food everywhere. There was lots of jackets and lots of clothes, right? And they had given thousands of dollars. Yeah. But what he was most surprised about was that the whole family was in the process of giving almost all of it away to their neighbors. Yeah, pretty cool stuff, huh? And he asked her, Perfecta, he says, well, what do you think about all of my readers who would give this to you? And this is what she said. Our neighbors are still in need. We cannot have plenty when they have nothing. This is what Jesus would have us do. Isn't that amazing stuff? And he, as he was driving away, but before he was driving away, he said to her, yeah, but how about all of these people that gave so much to you? And this is what she said. This is wonderful. This is good. We did nothing to deserve it. It is all a gift from God, but it's not his greatest gift. No, we celebrate that tomorrow. That is Jesus. And as he drove away, he thought about how empty he was, and he had it all. Great job, made a lot of money, had everything you could possibly want. He was kind of famous as a reporter, and yet he was empty inside. And that family was full and at peace. That's what Christmas is all about. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome it. In the Bible, there's 4 stories about Jesus, about his life, biographies, I guess you would say. And they're written by eyewitnesses or those who are close to eyewitnesses, written in that first generation, the first 30, 40 years. And so there was lots of people who could stand up and say, no, that's not true. So there's 4 of these things written, and 2 of them talk about the Christmas story, especially Luke, right, the Christmas account, but then also Matthew. But John, he talks about Christmas right away, but in a way of saying, this is what it means. This is what it means. And it starts off like this. It starts off, in the beginning was the Word. Now, in a few minutes we'll see why, but the Word here is Jesus. And it says that he was there in the beginning. It goes on, it says this. It says, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So Christmas has its start before anything else was here. And then it says about this Word, Jesus, it says this. In him was life, and this life was the light of all people. You see, Jesus, together with the Father and the Spirit, created everything. And it says in Proverbs, it's this wonderful verse of the book of Proverbs, the Old Testament book. It talks about how this Jesus, before he became a human being, he was God. And it talked about how he delighted in all of creation and delighted especially in humankind. And it reeks of relationship. It reeks of being filled up in a relationship of love with us, with you. I think that's what Perfecta had in the midst of all the struggles, and her granddaughters. It's what and how it was meant to be. But then it says this, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome it. So something happened. Some darkness came. The darkness was when we walked away from the relationship. When we went it our own way, when we go it alone. How does that work for you? It really doesn't work for me at all. But that's what happened. I don't know what darkness you bring with you tonight. Maybe you have some struggles like this family that he wrote about. Maybe there's some illness, or maybe uncertainty is touching your life, or maybe a relationship that's broken and you don't think you'll ever be able to put it back together. Maybe you just feel all alone. Maybe you just feel empty and hopeless. Yeah. That's what it's about. The light is greater than the darkness. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome it. There's a recording when I don't know, it was a long time ago, when I was young, a long time ago. But a long time ago, there was this recording, and it was a newscaster, and he was saying everything that had gone wrong that year, horrible things. And the last thing I remember was the American Red Cross had gone bankrupt, right? And in the background, very, very, very quiet, Silent Night is playing. And the message is, all this stuff, the darkness has overcome that Silent Night stuff. Tonight we celebrate is just the opposite. No matter how great the darkness, the light of Jesus Christ shines in your life, in your heart, and through us to our world. That's what tonight means. And it's all about Christmas. Just a few verses later, John makes sure we know that. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling. God became flesh. When did that happen? Oh, Christmas. Right? That's what it's talking about. The Word became flesh, made his dwelling among us. The Greek here is like tabernacling. In the Old Testament, God, they worship in this big tent called a tabernacle. And it's how God dwelt with his people. This is saying here that Jesus comes to do life with us. And he's always there. And no darkness can overcome him. And his glory is the love that he has for you, that took him all the way to the cross. And his truth is that once and for all he won. It is finished and the tomb is empty. Not even the darkness of death could beat him. Where do you need this light in your life? You know, all of the stories, and I say the word stories because our lives are made up of stories, right? And God steps into our story. I'm not saying these things somehow aren't true. No, every single one of them is true. But our lives are made up of stories, and so God does story with us. Whether it's the birth of Jesus, the cross of Jesus, the empty tomb of Jesus, he does stories with us. And these stories that lead up to Christmas, it's like, Have you ever been in the water, in the ocean, and you're getting ready to take this big breaker and it's starting to build, right? And so these stories, they start to build on this until finally it's going to crash with a Christmas story. Well, watch this. It starts here. Joseph doesn't know what the heck to do, right? His whole life is a sham. The woman that he thought he loved, she turns up pregnant. He doesn't know what he's going to do. The whole village is telling him just to forget it, turn your back on it. What's the matter with you? Is your life ever a train wreck? Mine is. Yeah. The angel came and he said, Joe, I got you covered here. This is a God thing. Don't be afraid. And then he said this one being born is a Savior. And Joseph, I'm giving you your life back, but even greater, because you're going to be the earthly father of this light, and he's going to save us all. This, sins, we throw that around. Sometimes we don't even know what they are. Is it bad stuff or is it good stuff? I don't know. At the foundation, it's this. It's stuff that cuts us off from relationship with God. And so we're all alone. That darkness is not greater than the light. That's what he took to the cross. And he won. The virgin will be with child and give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. Perfecta was right. Jesus was with them. And Jesus is with you, even when it seems like our lives are train wrecks. And so this wave is building, and now Mary doesn't know what's happening. Go ahead, put that up for me. Mary doesn't know what's happening. Her whole life is a train wreck, right? And everybody is angry with her, and everybody's ready to stone her to death. And she's in this place where she doesn't understand. Are you ever there? I mean, think about it. Do you ever not understand why you have to live through what you're living through? Do you ever just don't get it? See, this is real stuff. It's not just a story. It's real stuff. That's where Mary was at. And the angel came to her, and we ought to be getting used to this now. This is what he says. He says, don't be afraid. And she says, what do you mean don't be afraid, man? This shouldn't be happening to me. I'm a virgin. What's going on here? I didn't do anything wrong. You ever feel that way? And the angel says this, with God, nothing is impossible. Where do you need to hear that in your life? That's what Christmas is all about. A virgin had a baby, for goodness sakes. That's what Christmas is all about. With God, nothing is impossible. Where do you need to know that in your life? Where do you need to know that the love of God in Jesus Christ is there for you, and nothing is greater than that? Nothing is impossible with this God who loves you so much and takes glory in that love. I mean, if a virgin can have a baby, God can do it all, right? Where do you need to know that in your life? And now this wave just rolls into the crescendo with the Christmas account. Go ahead. In those days, Caesar Augustus, it says, and we start to yawn and go to sleep. I heard this so many times. Oh gosh, in those days, and Quirinius is governor of Syria. That's when it's happened. Oh yeah, I get it. My dad fought in World War II, and he went to basic training up in Oregon. And he played basketball within the Army before they were sent overseas against this guy named Hank Luzetti. Now, you guys probably don't even know the name. I wouldn't have known the name. It's way before my time, right? But he said this guy was an All-American at Stanford. He created this one-handed shot. He says he was awesome, and I played with him, and I held my own, and he had this big story, right? Well, my wife, for a number of years, had to go for treatment at Stanford. And they can be, I love Stanford, but they can be really slow. You're sitting there for a long time. And so I would take these walks on campus, and I passed the basketball auditorium, and there was this bronze statue out there. And so I just happened to walk. I thought, wavy, what the hell? And I walk over there, it's Hank Lazzetti. Now, I always believed my dad. I told my brother this too, and we were saying, wow, that's cool, that's cool. We always believed my father. But man, it was cool to see that statue. Do you know how many archaeological things we found that says, yes, this happened? Coins with Quirinius' name on it. All kinds of archaeological digs that says, yes. When Caesar Augustus and Quirinius got together, they had this census, and they were pulled into their hometowns to be registered because they were going to tax them. Put that up for me. When they were going to tax them, and Joseph had to go too. So in this point in time, not unlike our point in time that we live in real lives that they were struggling in, with a government who wasn't for them. Don't read anything into that. Please, all right? But with a government who was out to get them almost. All the powers stacked against them. The weakest of the weakest is who God came to. And in due time, she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. You ever had a child? That's kind of the way it is, isn't it? It's hard. I never had to have one, but my wife did, right? And you go through all that stuff, right? I mean, you do all that stuff, and you work, and you work, and you work, and you have to get some more painkiller, and all of this stuff. I remember the first time we had our oldest, if it hadn't been for Jane, honestly, we wouldn't have had any more kids. Jeff, one of my sons is here, you wouldn't be here, honest. Yeah. It's hard stuff, but then the baby's born. And everything else diminishes. The baby's born. Yeah. That's kind of what the angel said to the shepherds. Go ahead, put that up for me. Do not be afraid. We should be getting used to that now, right? Are you afraid somewhere? You might want to take that one home, right? Do not be afraid. I bring you good news of great joy for all the people. Are you part of the all? You a people? Yeah, all right, yeah. Today in the town of David, a Savior is born to you. And he says, this will be a sign to you, the baby, see? The baby. So what do? They go run off and they go see the baby. Can we take a moment and just stop? And can you picture that baby a moment? Flesh and blood reality. Can you see him there? Can you see him there in the manger? And his teenage parents over this way? The flesh and blood reality. This is the sign that the Spirit of God would bring each of us to tonight, even as they brought the shepherds there. The sign. And what's the sign pointing to? Yeah. That's what it's pointing to. The angels go on and says, glory to God in the highest and on earth peace. We talked about peace here a few weeks ago, and we had this short film, and I love what it said. It was like our lives are this brick wall, and when you don't have peace, there's a brick missing. Ooh. You got any bricks missing in your life? But Jesus is the Prince of Peace. Through that relationship, he fills in all the bricks, and he lets us rest in him. That's what Perfecta was doing, wasn't it? And it not only allowed her to be graceful in her fire, but to be graceful in her giving, in her life. To humankind, God's goodwill. I love this. I translated this one because we always mix this up. This is what God is saying to humankind, to anthropos is the word, God's good will. You all know John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. We all know that one, right? John 3:17 says, for God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world. To humankind, God's good will. I don't care what you bring with you tonight. I don't care what darkness you have. I don't care what darkness is of your own making. The child being born means that God has nothing but goodwill for you and life restored in relationship with him. Around here, we say this so often, but I just couldn't get away from it on Christmas. Go ahead. We love to say that you matter to God. This will be a sign to you. The child's born. You matter to God. You belong in God's family. You're not disconnected. And finally, you were made to make a difference. Just as Perfecta couldn't help but bring this reality of the light of Jesus into the lives of others, so too his light is in us and for us and with us and through us to all. Boy, that's a Merry Christmas, isn't it? Merry Christmas to you.